Your fish tank setup is fine until you add these monster fish. That's not clickbait. That's exactly how most aquarium disasters begin. Most aquariums don't fail during setup, they fail later, after the cycle is done, after the water clears, after confidence sets in. And the trigger is usually one fish that looked completely fine at first, and weeks later, everything starts falling apart. This video isn't about bad fish, it's about monster fish that outgrow the systems they're placed into, and why the damage almost always shows up after everything looks stable. Stick with me, because by the end, you'll understand why so many tanks collapse quietly and why the warning signs are almost always misunderstood. If you're building a tank right now or planning your next upgrade, hit subscribe. Not for lists, but for the part most monster fish videos never explain. Let's get into it. Oscar, the smart bully. Oscars feel friendly, almost interactive. They watch you, they recognize feeding time, they make the tank feel alive. At first, nothing feels wrong, no chasing, no visible aggression. Then they grow, and instead of fighting, they control space. Other fish stop swimming freely. They eat later, they hide more. The tank gets quieter. That silence gets mistaken for peace, but it isn't peace, it's pressure. Common Pleco, the silent waste factory. Plecos are added with good intentions. Cleanup, algae control. When they're small, they barely register. They feel harmless, but as they grow, their impact multiplies quietly. Waste output increases, oxygen demand rises, filtration starts working over time. Water can still look crystal clear. Tests can still read fine, but the system is losing ground. Plecos don't dirty tanks. They exhaust them. Arowana, the elegant space addict. Arowanas don't feel aggressive, they feel calm, almost graceful. They don't chase tankmates, they don't rush food, but they're built to patrol distance, and space becomes non-negotiable. As the tank becomes familiar, everything else feels too close, stress spreads before aggression ever appears. And the first fish to suffer is almost never the Arowana. Redtail catfish, the waiting room monster. As juveniles, redtails hide. They're quiet, easy to underestimate. That's the trap. They grow faster than biology adapts. Waste increases before bacteria can keep up. Oxygen demand shifts before routines adjust. By the time something feels off, the system is already overloaded. Not broken, just quietly drowning. Jaguar cichlid, the territorial judge. Jaguar cichlids don't negotiate space, they claim it. As juveniles, they seem manageable, colorful, confident. Then maturity hits, territory matters, and the tank turns into a pressure cooker. Other fish don't lose fights, they lose peace. And chronic stress does more damage than any single attack ever could. Green terror, the name that makes sense later. Green terrors don't earn their name immediately. They start calm, almost polite, then tolerance fades, dominance replaces it, fish hide more, feeding patterns shift, the tank loses rhythm. Nothing explodes, everything tightens. That slow tightening is what breaks systems. Peacock base, predator mode. Peacock base brings speed, energy, presence. At first it feels exciting. The tank looks active. Then hunting instincts switch on, and the aquarium stops being an ecosystem. Predators don't need aggression to destabilize tanks. They just need opportunity. Clown knife fish, the night shift problem. During the day, everything looks fine. At night, the rules change. Clown knives become active. Movement patterns shift. Pressure rises where you don't see it. The damage doesn't show immediately. It shows up later. when fish disappear or stop acting normal. Pacu, the friendly freight train. Pacus aren't aggressive. That's why they fool people. They eat well, they grow fast, they feel peaceful, and size quietly changes everything. Space tightens, waste builds, oxygen demand climbs. Most tanks hit their limit long before Pecos ever do. Flower horn, the ego tank. Flower horns don't just live in tanks, they redefine them. Everything revolves around their presence. Other fish adapt or fail. An adaptation under constant pressure always costs something. Usually, stability. Iridescent shark catfish, the panic spreader. Often confused with Bala sharks. Very different outcome. They grow massive, they panic easily, and panic spreads through tanks faster than disease. One stressed swimmer is enough to destabilize everything else. Fire eel, the quiet redesign. Fire eels don't attack tanks, they redesign them. Substrate shifts, territories change, night behavior rewrites the layout. The system adapts until it can't. Giant Gourami, the calm that overwhelms. Giant gouramis don't feel dangerous. They feel peaceful, slow movement, gentle presence, but size changes the equation quietly. Feeding pressure increases, oxygen demand rises, space becomes limited without obvious conflict. Nothing feels wrong at first, until the tank feels heavy. Bala shark, the stress engine. Bala sharks look harmless, sleek, fast. That speed creates constant alert mode, not aggression, permanent stress, and stress compounds. Chinese alga eater, the betrayer. Starts as a helper, ends as a problem. As they mature, behavior shifts. They attack slime coats, fish weaken. And the cleaner is rarely blamed. The compatibility trap, when monsters stack. Sometimes it's not one monster, it's the mix. Different growth rates, different temperaments, different pressure points. Nothing looks dramatic, but everything feels unstable. And instability always collects payment later. Myth busting, Monsterfish Edition. Myth 1. If the tank is cycled, it's ready. Cycling prepares bacteria. It doesn't prepare space, behavior, or long-term pressure. A cycled tank can still collapse once biology meets growth. Myth 2. Aggression is the real danger. Aggression is visible. Chronic stress is quiet, and quiet problems do the most damage over time. Myth 3. A bigger tank fixes monster fish? Bigger tanks delay collapse, they don't prevent it, they just slow the bill. The 3 truths that actually matter. Truth 1. Fish change faster than systems adapt. Growth is not linear, behavior shifts suddenly, and systems often lag behind those changes longer than people expect. Truth 2. Stability breaks quietly, not dramatically. Tanks don't explode, they drift. And drift feels harmless until it isn't. Truth 3. Most crashes are delayed bills. Fish rarely die from today's mistake. They die from pressure that stacked weeks earlier. Aquariums always collect later. If this video felt familiar, that's not an accident. In the next monster fish video, we break down what happens when multiple monsters share one system and why that accelerates collapse even faster. If this changed how you think about fish choices, subscribe. We don't shame mistakes here, we explain systems. Drop a comment below. Which fish surprised you the most? Most tanks don't fail from bad intentions. They fail from decisions that made sense at the time. Until next time, keep your tanks balanced, your upgrades slow, and your curiosity sharp.